One perfectly executed move to flip the entire school's social order upside down. And the boy they underestimated, the one they mocked and pushed and tried to break, walked away in silence while the whole cafeteria gasped. But trust me, that was only the beginning. Because when the truth came out, the humiliation, the lies, and the revenge that followed, it changed everything. If you've ever been underestimated, this story is going to hit home. Before we dive in, if you've ever dreamed of seeing karma catch up to someone who absolutely deserved it, go ahead and hit that like button. And if you love stories where the quiet kid finally gets the justice he earned, subscribe. You're about to hear one of the most satisfying comebacks ever. Now, let's begin. The first thing William Mercer noticed about Redmond High wasn't the students staring at him from corner to corner. It was how clean everything looked. Too clean. The windows gleamed like they never knew fingerprints. The floors were polished like they had been shined just minutes before you walked in. Everything felt controlled. Sterile, almost artificial. Back in Birmingham, the walls were covered in student art, announcements, messy posters, and a kind of chaotic energy that made the place feel alive. Redmond felt like someone had wrapped the school in plastic. His mom called the move a fresh start. His dad, more blunt, called it a necessary change. William didn't call it anything. He just carried his backpack, kept his shoulders straight, and walked through the doors like someone who had already learned how to navigate places where people expected him to fail. Because William wasn't the kind of kid you overlooked. At 16, standing 5'10" with lean, controlled muscle, he moved like someone trained, not someone who spent hours posing in mirrors. His posture was always straight, his steps measured, the way his father taught him since childhood. But all they saw was an outsider. Students gave him those quick sideways glances, that too long pause, that half-second whisper. Not enough to be obvious, just enough to say, "Who is this guy?" When he reached the front office and collected his schedule, he thought maybe that was the worst of it. But the moment he stepped back into the hallway, he saw them. The group that controlled the social order, without ever needing to say it. Ryan Callowell. Tall, broad shoulders, blonde hair styled perfectly like he had his own personal wind machine following him. Two friends flanked him like guards, laughing at something he said with that specific kind of laughter, the kind meant to be overheard. William didn't look at them long, but Ryan looked at him. Not hostile, not welcoming, just calculating. Like a predator deciding if the new kid was prey. A smirk spread across Ryan's face. He leaned toward one of his friends, whispered something, and they both chuckled while looking directly at William. William exhaled slowly and walked past them, hearing his father's voice echo in his head. Strength isn't about showing off. It's about knowing when to walk away. So he walked away. But guys like Ryan? They don't like being ignored. The first week was a test, a slow, steady push. Ryan bumped him in the hallway, muttering, "Watch it." A notebook got knocked off his desk in history class. A smirk, a whisper, a fake apology. And slowly, Ryan's friends began adding the comments. "Didn't know they let kids from the hood in here. You ever think about trying out for football? You people are good at that, right? You're quiet. No jokes? Aren't your people supposed to be funny?" They always said it low. Just low enough that a teacher couldn't catch it. Just loud enough to sting. Enough that the people around them would laugh or pretend not to hear, because silence was safer. William kept his voice neutral, his expression blank. His fists stayed clenched beneath his desk, but he didn't give them what they wanted. He'd been trained better than that. But Friday, everything changed. It was lunchtime. William sat alone at a table, not by choice, but because people weren't sure what to make of him yet. He had just taken a bite of his food when the shadow fell across his tray. Ryan. Flanked by Zach and Brandon. Ryan grinned, loud enough to capture the room's attention. "So Mercer, how come you don't talk much? Cat got your tongue?" William didn't respond, just kept chewing. Wrong answer. Ryan grabbed the apple off his tray and tossed it across the cafeteria. It hit the floor by the drink station.
People turned. Conversations paused. William set down his fork, slowly, deliberately. He looked up for the first time and met Ryan's eyes, steady, unreadable. Ryan loved it, mistook it for fear. Then he pushed William's shoulder hard enough to make a sound that echoed across metal tables. "Come on, Mercer, do something." Silence fell over the cafeteria. William didn't move. Not right away. He was breathing evenly, calculating. His father's voice returned inside his head. "You don't fight with anger. You fight with control." Then, calmly, he pushed his chair back. He stood. Ryan's smirk widened. "Ooh, tough guy. You gonna swing? You gonna act like a thug now?" People leaned forward. Phones came out. Even the lunch staff paused mid-motion. Ryan shoved him again. Harder this time. And that was his last mistake. Before Ryan's arm could even retract, William's left hand shot up lightning fast, gripping Ryan's wrist with the precision of someone who had drilled that move 1,000 times. His right hand immediately clamped under Ryan's elbow. A pivot, a shift of weight. And Ryan's feet left the ground. He hit the cafeteria floor hard, a single loud slap against the tile. The room exploded in gasps. Ryan's friends stepped forward, but William didn't even look at them. He crouched next to Ryan, his voice low, calm, controlled. "Don't touch me again." He stood, dusted his hands like he had just moved a chair, picked up his tray and walked away. No victory lap, no arrogance, just quiet finality. Behind him, the cafeteria buzzed, whispers turning into shouts, excitement spreading like wildfire. "He just dropped him! Bro, he didn't even try! I got the whole thing recorded." Ryan stayed on the floor stunned, scrambling to sit up, his ego shattered in front of everyone who once worshipped him. But that was only phase one. By the time school ended, everyone was talking about the takedown. Some kids stepped aside when he passed, others nodded at him like he had solved world hunger. But not all attention was good attention. Ryan wasn't outside waiting for him. Ryan was smarter than that. Ryan had money, influence, and a father with connections. When William got home, he barely made it through dinner before his mom noticed his unusually stiff expression. "Everything okay at school?" she asked. William shrugged. "Just a regular day." His dad stared at him knowingly but didn't comment. He didn't need to. Later that night, a text came from an unknown number. "You think you're tough? You got lucky today. Watch your back." William locked his phone, exhaled, and went to sleep. He already knew the storm was coming. Monday morning, the hallways buzzed like a hive. The moment he walked in, whispers followed him like shadows. Some freshmen moved aside instantly. An upperclassman he'd never met gave him a thumbs up. 2 students tried to sit with him at lunch. It wasn't respect. It was entertainment. They didn't see William, they saw the story. And then he saw Ryan, standing at his usual spot, but different. No smirk, no swagger, just clenched fists and eyes that refused to meet William's. For the first time, Ryan walked away. At lunch, Ava Sinclair, smart, outspoken, the girl who never pretended not to see things, sat across from William. "You know," she said, "you didn't just beat Ryan. You humiliated him." William took a bite of his food. "He picked the fight." Ava smirked. "Yeah, but you ended it. That's worse. For him." She leaned closer. "And you need to be careful. His dad is on the school board." William met her gaze, calm, unshaken. "Does it look like I care?" "You should," she whispered, "because he does." By Wednesday, everything got quiet. Too quiet. Ryan wasn't provoking him, wasn't speaking to anyone, wasn't even looking at him. And that was the red flag. Ava found him after school, urgency in her eyes. "Ryan's dad is trying to get you expelled." William exhaled. "Of course he is. He's claiming you attacked Ryan, that it was unprovoked." William didn't panic. He'd seen the story before. Different state, same script. A white athlete picks a fight. A black kid finishes it. Suddenly, rules bend. "So what do I do?" he asked. Ava crossed her arms. "You fight back." With proof. That night, William gathered everything. Screenshots of the threatening texts, the full fight video showing Ryan pushing first, witness statements from students who had had enough of Ryan's bullying, even audio clips of comments Ryan thought were whispered. By morning, William walked into school with Ava and 2 other students by his side, straight to the principal's office. The meeting wasn't short, or quiet, or pleasant. Ryan's dad tried everything: pressure, guilt, fake outrage. But the evidence was airtight. William hadn't just
tried everything: pressure, guilt, fake outrage. But the evidence was airtight. William hadn't just defended himself. He had the truth. And the truth won. William wasn't expelled, wasn't suspended, wasn't even given detention. Ryan, however, didn't return for the rest of the week. When he finally did, he was a different version of himself. Quiet, shrinking, eyes down. The school's golden boy wasn't golden anymore. Not because William beat him, but because William exposed him. And people never forget what they've seen with their own eyes. William didn't want fame, didn't want attention, didn't want to become some myth or cautionary tale. He just wanted peace. And sometimes, peace only comes when someone finally learns the consequences of pushing the wrong person too far. Because justice doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers, and everyone hears it. Reflective wrap-up. In the end, William didn't win because he fought harder. He won because he fought smarter, with discipline, truth, and calm strength. And that's the kind of victory no bully knows how to handle. Sometimes standing your ground isn't about swinging first. It's about refusing to be broken. If this story gave you chills or reminded you that quiet strength is still strength, hit that like button. Comment below with the most satisfying real-life karma moment you've ever seen. And make sure to subscribe. More stories like this are coming your way.